got the juice.
Still got the juice. Jacina, love. We're here with Xotic.
Period.
Period. Brooklyn in the building.
Brooklyn in this motherfucker. I already know, Long Wedding.
All the looks.
Thank you.
With a sound. Like,
Okay.
Yo.
I love her energy. Thank you so much for giving me straight energy right now. She making me want to go to the club and be like, hold on.
How music did that to me? You did that.
So for real, I appreciate your job.
What's your story?
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to talk about it. This girl comes from a family of rappers, from mom to brothers, writing from time to time. Tell me a little bit about that.
So pretty much, my mother, she rapped. I didn't know she rapped until like one day, cause my brother, like, he started off in our like cause we lived in the projects. Of course, I'm from the projects. So you know, like we was from the projects, and you know, he basically had like we had a walk-in closet in our house, and he made a booth in his room. So he wanted to rap so bad he made a booth. So, you know, he was getting to it. He was doing his thing. He'd be in there rapping, him and his friends. And then one day my mother heard the beat and she like, I like this beat. And then she just started freestyling. I'm like, what's happening? Like, what is going on? So once she started freestyling, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and then my brothers will do it. And then I'll just be sitting there and I'm like, you know what, this sounds better. You know, like you should put this in it. And one day, like, I think like at the time, like, you know, one of my exes, you know, one of my exes kind of pissed me that a little bit. I'm like, you know, because at the time, well, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I am bisexual, so a lot. Okay. So I deal with girls, and at the time she was bad bitches, right? So like, you know, at the time she pissed me off. So I was my brother was in the booth, and I'm like, you know what? I like this beat, and I'm like, you know, so we started making a song, and then he like, as he writing, and I'm like, say this. He's going, and he's in the booth, and he's just rapping, and he like, I like this. Like, he like, hold on, like, why you don't do it yourself, you know? And then my friend, like, they all ask me over the years, like, why don't you just do it yourself? And I'm like, no, like, it's not, you know, it's not really my thing. I was more into, like, wanting to be in corporate, and because I am a business manager, so, you know, I was like, you know, trying to go that route. And after a while, it was just like, you know, like I said, you know, my mother passed away in 2021 due to COVID. So wow. I'm like, I needed an outlet. I needed something, because at the time it was just so like, honestly, unexpected. Nobody like it just like happened.
The COVID hitting and then losing somebody to it.
Yeah. She had like a breathing disorder, so you know, it's just like it was crazy. So once, you know, she passed, like I felt like I started to like not like I started to lose myself, you know. So I started to think a little bit like going on my journey, trying to discover who I am, and you know, like I felt like, you know, the best way to you know, like was my music, like, you know, just writing. And I started writing, and then as I started going into the booth and I'll put the music in together, I started putting music together, my friends is like, they bump into it and they dancing, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is something, like
right now.
So I'm like, you know, so I went and I just started like, you know, I started putting more energy to it. And I'm like, you know what, because I've been doing business management for so long. I've been doing it for 9 years. Straight out of high school, I went into business management, and I was actually into security. And then I worked my way up from there, and then I became a business manager. And then I just was like, you know, for like the past 7 years I've been doing it. And I feel like, you know, eventually like your heart just, you know, when you just lose, you know, like interest in it. And then I'm like, you know, I want to do something more. I want to be more, you know, I have a daughter. So I'm like, you know, I want to try to, you know, bring it in for her. So it just like pushed me to go harder. And I just started making more music. And yeah, I'm like, I'm probably rambling.
Beautiful story. No rambling bit. There was a lot of truth there. What a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Now, if you could, with everything you've been through, with all the experiences you've been through, being where you are now, drop me a gem for those who possibly who will go through what you went through. The story about being in the projects, the booth in the class. Like, I don't know.
I just say
the projects is such a gem.
Yeah, you learn everything. Yeah, everything. You learn everything from the project. I just say keep on pushing. Like my grandmother's favorite thing to say, she used to tell us like keep your focus. And I used to be like, you know what? That's my slogan now. Like you got to keep your focus. And as long as I keep my focus, you know, like I'm gonna be able to make it through anything. So that's how my thought process been, and it's gonna be that way, you know. That's definitely
2023. What you got out? What you got out? So
all right. So right now I have 2 singles out. One of them is called Pose, and the other one is Sushi, which features her. You like her, you know. So Pose is like, I feel like I wanted to drop. That's actually not. Everybody think that Pose is my first song that I actually wrote, but it's not. It's the first song that I wrote is gonna be on the EP that I plan on dropping this spring. It's happening. So the ladies already shit. Summertime will be coming. So it's Pose. I dropped Pose, but I decided to drop Pose because I felt like, you know, it was giving bad bitch vibes, bad bitch anthem. So it was like, you know, then I had to,
a little bit of everything.
you know, so I had to slide in. And I wanted to keep the same momentum. I didn't want to, you know, kind of like stray away. Like I told my brother, you know, we spoke about the music the other day, and he was telling me like, you know, how the female rappers in New York, they sound like this and they sound like that. You should try to change this. And I'm like, listen, that's not my lane. I feel like a lot of people, they kind of like get crumbled when they try to switch lanes, you know? And I feel like I'm not going to jump into somebody else's lane and try to like, you know, compete with, you know, like I'd rather stay in my lane, you know, and this is what I've been doing. And I know, like, I feel like I got it. So I'm going to continue doing it that way. So, you know.
No, and I love that. I love that staying focused. Right now, it's all a trend. Everybody, I think the easiest thing to do is do what everybody else is doing, right? Because we know people are going to take to it. So confidence is key, and you got it.
Thank you. That's a fact.
So when you hear Still Got the Juice, what comes to your head?
Energy, like vibes. I just love the whole scenery. Like, it's like, bad bitch, can't let me see. I had to do this song here. And the job, and you killed it. Trust me, like the song is not. This is a new single. It's I probably won't release it as a single. It's gonna be on my EP, but I'm like, you know, I wanted to do it here because I felt like the energy, the vibes, like everything, just the lights, it just went perfect with the song. So yeah, that's what I think. Energy.
Mom, we are super excited for you. Brooklyn is waiting for you.
We in 2023.
You better come back.
I'm coming back.
When the EP drop,
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna drop some. I'm gonna have some fire for y'all. Y'all better be ready.
More fire. More fire.
Oh yeah, well like I said, me and my brothers, they all do music. I have my older brother, he do music. My younger brother, he does music, and I have my baby brothers. 2 of my baby brothers, they do music. So my baby brother is actually gonna be on my EP. And he is, when I mean he's a dope artist, oh my God, amazing. Like when I mean, I promise you, you guys are not going to be disappointed. But I have a song with him and Jacina coming out. So that's definitely going to be something to look forward to what's happening. You know, we definitely want to have this shit. I got a whole neighborhood.
So we said spring, what? Spring.
I would say April-ish. I'm pushing for like April, May.
This gonna be a summer hitter.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna get the energy popping before the summer pop. We're gonna have the bitches in the car. Like it's up there today.
Spring started right now. Spring started today,
right here. Still got the juice.
Mo Exotic, Brooklyn in the building. Female love, still got the juice. We out of here.
We out. Bye.